So the Final Stand maps are back on CTE, but this time around we have a lot of improvements from all the player feedback. Before I talk about the maps, I want to firstly talk about the new Soldier Physics that's recently been deployed in the CTE client. The new Soldier Physics aims to fix their really annoying issue of getting stuck on world objects like a small rock or anything that seems to be slightly elevated. Your soldier will most likely just run into it like it's a wall. It's a pretty major issue that's been in the game since release, and I'm sure we all know just how frustrating it is. If you're able to jump into CTE, I suggest to do so because the new Soldier Physics is really nice. Your soldier moves in a more fluid way. However, I did notice some objects that usually I'll need to kind of jump over. I seem to be able to just walk right over them, so I think the new system needs some tweaks here and there, but overall it's a big improvement. The devs have requested anyone that participates in CTE to please leave feedback on the forum thread, which I'll leave the link in the description. Also, the gameplay in this video isn't that exciting because there was only a few people on the Australian servers, so a lot of my time I was just kind of messing around with the railgun, but hopefully in my next video I'll be able to show you guys some pretty good gameplay on a full server. Also, check out this almost 400 meter magnum shot. Somehow managed to hit this guy, but of course he must have been on low HP already. But anyway, I'll talk more about the CTE updates later. Let's talk about Final Stand. What have the devs updated in this build? Well, the hover tank controls have been redone. If you didn't get a chance to drive the hover tanks the first time around, while you didn't miss out on much, it was extremely wonky and had very awkward physics, but at the time I didn't think too much of it because I knew it's an early build of Final Stand, but this time around it handles a lot better. It feels a bit more solid and not over the top responsive like it was before. There's been various texture and model updates to the snowmobile and pod launcher, also a bug fix to the MKV Bell pickup where on occasion it wouldn't be able to fly. In terms of the railgun, according to the patch notes, it said the railgun now correctly damages vehicles. I assumed its damage has been decreased, but it's still really powerful against air vehicles. As you can see in the clips playing now, you can still do a one-shot mobility hit and kill the pilot if you aimed correctly, but the one-shot destroy kill seems to be gone unless the air vehicle is already on low HP. Last time we had Final Stand on CTE, on occasion you could one-shot destroy air vehicles right out the sky, so I'm guessing maybe the patch notes is referring to that. But in terms of other improvements, all the Final Stand maps had a lot of fixes to clipping, textures, small scale destruction and levolution, because there was a lot of areas of each map that either had missing textures or you had objects clipping into each other. Also various objects that previously you couldn't vault over. For example, the fence at point A on Operation Whiteout, doesn't matter what angle you approach the fence, you couldn't jump over it. But overall, across all the Final Stand maps in the latest CTE build, the level of detail is greatly improved and it feels a lot more polished, which means the Final Stand DLC is coming pretty soon. Some people are saying it's at the end of the month, but I'm guessing it's, maybe early November. So in terms of other improvements, the test range has been added to the CTE client, which a lot of people have been asking for a while, and there's been some balancing tweaks to the medic bags. They no longer heal plays, including yourself in its radius if you're being suppressed. Before you go crazy, I think this was for balancing reasons, because if you're taking damage and being healed at the same time, it kind of brings on some balancing concerns, but to be honest, I never thought it was that much of an issue. I think this change was brought into CTE because a lot of people are saying suppression is just too weak, especially with the changes from the full patch. Being suppressed doesn't add any more recoil while you're ADSing, so if suppression is stopping the players from receiving heals from the assault player, assuming he's also being suppressed, it kind of makes suppression more effective and viable. Obviously such a major change like this is going to get some hate from people, but I'd like to hear what you guys have to say about that. Do you think the med bags are overpowered and causing balancing concerns, or do you think it's well balanced? At the moment, I can't really give my opinion just yet. I haven't spent too much time on CTE to see how much of an impact this has on gameplay. I'll report back on this change in a later video. But as for other changes, the red dot sites have had rendering improvements. As you can see here, we have the Coyote red dot site, and looking at bright backgrounds like the sun or the snow glare, we can see in CTE the red dot is a lot easier to see, especially with Final Stand coming up. There's going to be a lot of snow maps, and I would be great to be able to perfectly see the red dot on my sight. And finally, a bug fix to thermal scopes that would sometimes render 3 times the brightness. This bug happens a lot when using the MAV, which is really frustrating. Also, the HUD rendering on these scopes have been improved to clearly display heat signatures of targets. This also includes when using the thermal sights on vehicles, which makes slams and mines a lot easier to find. So if you're mainly a tank player, you now might want to consider using a thermal scope. So to finish off this video, I really do hope the new Soldier collision physics will be included in the Final Stand DLC. Yes, it does need some tweaks here and there, but this improvement pretty much every Battlefield 4 player wants and needs. Anyway guys, make sure to let me know what are your thoughts about the medic bag changes. Leave your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.